start. So what we will learn today is we will learn what is yum, and we will install Jenkins on EC2 instance, and we will integrate Jenkins with a GitHub. And I'll walk you through step by step, and all the installation and everything we'll be doing on a Amazon Linux computer. Operating system is Amazon Linux 2. That is the AMI that we are trying to use. We are not having so much data on our instance. T2.micro 1 GB data is more than enough. And just review and launch. Okay, I'm going to use the same keypad that I'm using for the whole lecture, and the instance will be ready in a minute. So yum is the package manager to install any packages. Okay, what is package manager? Let's say, for example, when you want to install application in Windows laptop, what you are going to do? You're going to download the package, right? Download the package. Next, install, right? Download git bash, for example, right? And so what we are doing is we are installing Git on a Windows computer or Mac OS or Linux or whatever. We are installing Git. We are downloading that package. If I click on that Linux, right, it's going to get me, you see that? Yum. For Fedora machine, yum. Or for Amazon Linux, is there any Amazon Linux? Give me 1 second. Let's see. CentOS, is there any CentOS? No CentOS? Okay. So for CentOS, Amazon Linux, or most of the operating systems, Linux operating systems, you will be using yum to install any package. Yum is the package manager for CentOS, Amazon Linux, and the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. If I do click on this Windows, right, what it will do? If I do click on any of these things, it's gonna give me that package. The package will be downloaded to my local computer. Then all I have to do, just next, install, right? Select all your options, next, install. But in the Linux is different. So the one command you will get that package installed, but that package should be available in centralized Linux repository. Centralized Linux repository is nothing. Most of the packages that we install, they are available in centralized Linux repository. Okay, so we are using yum. Yum is nothing but a package manager for Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Amazon Linux, and CentOS. And for Ubuntu, it's a apt-get or apt for Ubuntu. And for SUSE, Fedora, it's yum. But we don't use those many Linux machines. Right now, most of the companies, they're using Amazon Linux or Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and both are very similar, and we'll be using same commands. So you guys don't have to worry about this Debian, Ubuntu, all these things, but just good to know. Okay, so we'll be installing Git using yum on Amazon Linux 2, and we'll be integrating Git with a Jenkins, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, let's connect to our EC2 instance. Let's connect to our EC2 instance. How we can connect to this instance? Using SSH client. What is SSH client here? My MacBook is the SSH client. Okay.
Vishnu?
Yes.
Should we install again Git? We already have Git, right?
This is my new Linux computer, right? I just created this computer. I don't have anything installed on this computer. This is brand new computer, right?
Okay, but we have already, so do we
No.
need to install again?
I want you to guys terminate those instances after your work. When you start practicing, I want you to guys create a new virtual machine. I want you to guys terminate the instance after your work and create a new instance and make connections and everything new. That's what I want you to guys do it. Okay?
Okay. Okay, and if we terminate, what is the difference between stop and terminate?
If you terminate that instance, you don't have anything. It's gone.
Oh, okay.
Those SSH keys won't be used. It lose all the data and everything. If
Oh,
you
okay.
create a new instance, you will know how to create an instance and you will generate SSH keys again and you will make connectivity between Git and EC2 instance without a password. And I want you to do practice all those things for next 2 to 3 months.
Okay, okay.
That's the difference.
Got it, Vishnu.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
In short, I can say terminate in the sense buying a new laptop, and stopping and starting is shutting down and starting up again.
So
Am I right?
stopping is you're not using. Basically, stopping nothing but that computer won't be available. But terminating the nothing but you're destroying. Done.
Okay.
You're just throwing away. You don't have that computer anymore. But the stopping is you are not using. Still you own it, but you're not using, and you don't need to pay for it since you're not using. But so you're not using the computer, you don't have to pay for the computer. But when you stop your instance, right? 1 GB of data occupied on this computer, but you will have to pay that 1 GB of data. So
okay, makes sense.
yeah, it's a business logic. Amazon business logic. They are very smart. So we are just followers, they're creators.
So Vishnu, quick question here. So
Yes.
if we stop and start the instance, the IP address gonna change, right?
Yes, but IP
So
address
how
will
can-
change because this is a free account and this is a public IP. So what most of the companies, what they do is they will buy the IP called elastic IP. So they will buy certain range of instances. For example, let's say their DNS will be starting from where is my, yeah, this is paint, right? Yeah, let me open this. So what they will do, the companies, what they will do when they buy network, right? Network nothing but VPC. VPC is nothing but AWS account. When they buy that AWS account, what they will do, let's say for example, your instance IP start with 192.0.0.1, for example. Hey, after this IP address within this network, okay, I want 128,000 IPs. 128,000 IPs or 64,000 IPs or 24,000 IPs or 32,000 IPs. I want all those IPs for me after starting from 1 to 32,000, all for me. Okay. So what they will do is this IP, they're buying this IP, right? This is called elastic IP. So the elastic IP will be attached to the account. It's not attached to the instance. It will be attached to the account. So you will have an option to provide your own instance IP, which is available in your network within the subnet where you are trying to launch your instance. And if you don't provide any IP for your instance, automatically IP address will be allocated to your instance. Whatever the IP address available in that subnet will be allocated to your instance. Since you bought this IP range, if you stop and if you start the instance, your IP won't change because you bought it. So right now, my instance is free tier, right? And I did not buy, and now I stopped my instance, this IP address will go. This IP address will go away. This IP address will go away, for example. And if I start it, whatever the IP address available at the time will be allocated to this instance. By the time when I start the IP, the same, by the time when I start my instance, the same IP might not be available. Since it's a free tier, somebody try to launch instance and it will be allocated to someone's instance. You know what I mean? So that's the reason. But in the companies, you will never ever expect something IP will change or things like that. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, Vishnu, makes sense.
Everybody clear?
So we need to terminate every time, right,
Because
Vishnu?
I want you to guys learn. I want you to guys learn, repeat things when you started talking. I want you to guys repeat things multiple times, maybe 100 times, 150 times, so that you guys will learn. That's what I exactly want you to guys do. Okay, because you might feel that you know everything. Okay, I'm doing very good. Okay, I know it. I got it. I know it. I got it. But it doesn't work that way. You will forget after 2 days, 3 days. I want you to guys practice every day, at least 1.5 months, 2 months, so that you don't forget anything. Okay?
Yeah,
Because
right, Vishnu.
I want you to guys generate SSH keys every day. I want you to guys add your public keys to GitHub every day. Terminate your yesterday's public keys. And I want you to guys push files. Leave your files and repositories, because we need big GitHub, like so many repositories and so many files. Leave those things, but delete public keys, create new servers, and generate new keys. Make connection between the new server, Git, and push, pull, clone repositories. Just create a PRs, and all those things. I want you to guys do it multiple times when you start. Okay. Let's connect to this instance. Any other doubts? Yeah, somebody asking.
We need to terminate every time after we are done. That's what, right? You are saying, Vishnu?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And when you start working again, I want you to create one more. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Let's connect to this instance. Okay. Ramya. So for your question, right? EC2 user by default, EC2 user as an admin. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I try to install, let's say Git, yum install Git, right?
Sudo.
Why? So why EC2 user by default is a admin user, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's not the root user, right?
Yeah, but so you were.
He has the admin rights, but not the root user.
Exactly. He has the admin rights, but he's not a root user. So if you try to run it, it's gonna fail.
Yes.
Because you need to be a root user. In
Yes.
order to provide root permissions, what I will do, okay, I don't have to switch, like sudo -i. If I do like this, you see that I become a root user.
Yeah.
Okay. But if let's exit from here, and if I do sudo, still I'm a EC2 user. But what I'm telling the server, hey, I'm logged in as an EC2 user, but I have privileges. I have admin privileges. Okay, that's why I'm trying to provide like a sudo. I'm telling you that I'm a super user, right? And if I'm a super user, it will work. Okay, and let's create one more user. Sudo user add. Let's call Jenkins user. Okay, sudo pass wd Jenkins. Let's provide a password. Okay, Now let's switch as a Jenkins user. Provide a password. And now who am I? Who am
Jenkins.
I? Right?
Mhm.
Now let's install something. Yum install Git again. You need to be a root user. Let's become a root user. You see that? I'm trying to become a root user, but it is saying, hey, if you think you are a root user, provide your password. But in the EC2 case, it doesn't have, it wasn't happen, right? Because EC2 user already added to that sudoers file by default. It's in the AMI. It's in the AMI, Amazon Linux 2 image, right? We selected Amazon in a Linux 2 image, right? For this computer, it's in the AMI. That's why we didn't have to do anything for EC2 user. But whenever we add user, the user should be added to that wheel group. Then only he will be able to install or whatever. He will become a root user. He will be able to install applications. Okay. Did I answer your question actually?
Yes, Vishnu, but my question was, do everyone has the switch back to the root user?
If they are added to that wheel group, right? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's add this Jenkins user to the wheel group. So,
No, Vishnu, I'm in the real time. If someone asks us to do something admin work, so I mean, which
yeah,
is possible only through your root user, can we switch back easily to the root user, or do we need some rights?
yes, based on your account, basically, you will be given access based on your access, like based on your operations, whatever the operations that you do support. Hardly 10-15 people will be the root users. You could say, for example, I'm in my company, I'm a admin root user, right? Let's say Vishnu Chimala, for example, and I have a colleague, Daniel, whatever, or Kim Paul, whatever, Kim Paul, Kim.Paul, Kim.Paul, switching user like Kim.Paul. Since I am a EC2 user, I am a Vishnu Chimala and I have a root privileges, right? I could do this. I could switch back to Kim Paul because Kim Paul has the same rights as I have. So I can switch back to any user that I want. Maybe hardly 5-7 people in an organization will be root users for that particular server that you guys working on. Mostly, not more than that. Maybe hardly 10-20, I guess. Not more than that. Okay. Did I answer your question, Ramya, actually?
Yes, Vishnu.
Okay. So let's install Jenkins. How I'm going to install Jenkins? Can anyone give me? Actually, I will have the document ready. Basically, I have a document and I will share this document with you guys. I'm going to follow the document. Okay. Yeah. We are going to follow this document. Okay. I want you to guys make your doubts. I want you to guys make your notes and everything. So in order to install Jenkins, there are some prerequisites. Any applications should have some prerequisites, right? And what are those prerequisites? So for the Jenkins, Java should be installed before we install Jenkins. Okay. What is the command to use Java to install Java? Can anybody tell me what is the command in Linux to install Java? Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, Vishnu.
Can see.
Sudo yum
Can you
install
can
Java.
you do that? Java.
Yeah, sudo yum install Java.
Why would I have a 1.8?
That version. I think.
Version of Java.
Yeah,
I'm
that's the latest version.
Yes, I'm specifying a specific version of Java. I'm installing a specific version of Java. Okay, let's install Java. Did you guys observe that I did have that y at the end, -y? What is that?
It mentions all the packages.
So the -y will escalate the step. Let's say if you want to install Git, you don't provide -y, it will ask you after some time, it will ask you yes, download, or no, things like that, right? Like that. So we don't provide this y here, and let's see what we are going to get. Okay, and we can look for the version, whether Java installed or not. It's still installing. It's very easy. It's not that difficult. All you need to know the pieces. If you get the pieces, you know how to connect them, and you will be fine. You guys are doing really, really good. Really, really good. I really appreciate you guys.
Vishnu, I have one doubt here.
Hello? Yeah, somebody talking, but I can't hear. Let's check Java iPhone version. You see that 1.8 something has been installed. Now let's install wget. If I don't provide this -y, right? Let's see what happens. Okay, that wget is there. So if I don't have that wget, what will happen is it will give me some, okay, which vim? I want to show how that -y works. Is there?
ఏంటి అక్కడ టైక్వాండో ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయమను.
Let's install some prerequisites, Amazon Linux prerequisites. You see that Amazon Linux extras, some APL prerequisites. Yes, let's check for that. Let's check. If I do Java dash version, right? If Java won't install, let's say there is no Java, you don't see that, right? The Java command won't be executed. If Java doesn't install on this machine, you cannot execute the Java command. You do Java, that means it's working. Java doesn't install on the server. Okay, let's install some Amazon Linux prerequisites. Okay, and I don't want to provide this -y at the end. Let's see what happens. You see that? Is this okay? -y, that y means yes, that D means download, 10 means no. I can provide this y right here. But what if you're running this as a script? If you're running from somewhere different machine, right? How you are going to escalate this part? That's why we need to provide -y at the end, -y at the end. Did you guys understand that? Yeah, can you be on mute actually?
Vishnu, can you please come again about -y?
Yeah. So let's say I'm trying to install some, for example, sudo yum install httpd. For example, I'm trying to install a package right now. I'm not providing any -y at the end. For example, I'm not providing any -y at the end. Okay. So what it will do, it will ask me, it will prompt for, hey, you're trying to install some one package, 8 dependent packages, whatever. Is this okay? Okay. and I need to provide yes by saying why. Yes, I'm okay with it. But what if you're running the script from third-party server, from different server? You won't see this I want S, D, and you don't see that, right? Because you're running your script from somewhere else. So in order to escalate this point, we need to provide that -y, the -y at the end. So it won't ask for any escalation. It will just, skip that point and it will install. Did I answer your question actually?
Yes, Vishnu, makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, so we installed Java, and we installed some Amazon Linux prerequisites. Everybody will follow the document from Amazon Linux machine only. If they want to install a package on Amazon Linux server, they will follow the same document. If I want to install a package on CentOS server, I will follow the CentOS document. If I want to install something on Red Hat Enterprise Linux, I need to follow the Red Hat Enterprise Linux documentation only. There is nothing I need to remember in my mind, and I need to remember the whole time. No, all I need to know how to install a package. That's it. Okay. Now this is the Jenkins repo. We are downloading this repository using wget command. Wget command is nothing but you can download files or packages or repositories from HTTPS server. You see that we are getting this jenkins.repo file from HTTPS. That means Jenkins organization website basically. Let's get that. Okay, that worked. Okay, next what we need to do, just get this key, jenkins.io key. This is a requirements for Jenkins machine basically. So get that key using RPM command. RPM and wget and the yum. RPM is also repo package manager only, but it doesn't work for all the Linux servers. Okay, I never use this RPM unless this class. I use this RPM for only this class, for only that package. Now I need to install Jenkins, but in order to install Jenkins, right, these are the prerequisites. You need to have Java installed, and you need to have some Amazon Linux prerequisites, and you need to have the Jenkins repo file, and you need to have the Jenkins key. You see that Red Hat stable Jenkins io.key. You need to have all those details in your machine before you install Jenkins. Now let's install Jenkins. Okay, sudo yum install Jenkins -y. Whatever the service, what service that we are trying to install, Jenkins service. So in Linux, whatever the service that you install, after installation, you need to start the service. Okay, you need to enable the service and you need to start the service. For that, systemctl is the command. Okay, after any service installation, the next thing you need to do, start the service and enable the service. Okay, let's go to our machine, sudo systemctl Start. What service that I'm trying to start? Jenkins. Okay. Next, enable the service. Okay, next check the status of the service. Yes, you see that? Active and running. What service is active and running? The Jenkins service is active and running. Okay. Next, what I need to do? Install Git, that I did, I guess, and create an SSH user. Generate a key. Okay, let's generate a key. Get that public key. Have that public key added to your GitHub. Okay. Go to SSH and GPG keys. This is November 14th, 2021. I don't want this key. Let's delete this key. Okay, that's fine. And this one, I never use this key. I don't need this key as well. And this one last week, but I don't have that instance anymore. I can delete this key as well and create a new SSH key. This is, I just generated this today. Feb. What day is today? 14th. Oh, that's fine. Let's add this key. Okay. So this is where you can see the Jenkins graphical user interface basically. Okay. Public instance IP, http:// public instance IP : 8080. By default, Jenkins will be running on port 8080. Okay. Let's go there. Let's see whether Jenkins is running there or not. http:// where is the public IP of that instance? This is my Jenkins instance, right? I can write Jenkins just for the reference. Okay. And this is my public instance, right? I guess instance IP, public instance IP. Let's go and grab that public instance IP and add it here. Then port 8080. It's not going to work because this instance will allow only SSH authentication. Where Vishnu, where can you see that? How you know this computer only accessible via SSH. When I try to access something through website, web application, this is a Google web page, right? Google web page. When I try to access something through web, it is HTTP, hypertext protocol, HTTP access, HTTP authentication. But this computer is only accessible through SSH. How you know? Right? That's the question. How you know this is only accessible through SSH? Where can we find the details? In security groups? Okay, the security groups can control the inbound and outbound traffic of this instance, because we don't want hackers to hack our servers, for example. Okay, let's go to security group. This is the security group. And if you see inbound rules, right? And outbound rules. Okay, what are the inbound rules of this computer? What you see? Only SSH. This, whatever the instance which is available in this security group, inside this security group, only accessible through SSH. What is this 000? You could SSH to this machine from any computer. That 000 means you are not specifying any specific range. Okay, that can be accessible through any computer. Let's add a rule. We are trying to access through HTTP, right? But for time being, I could just add all traffic. Hey, just give permission, whatever. Whoever is accessing this computer, that's okay, give permission. Whether they are trying to access this SSH or HTTP or whatever. That's what I'm telling, 000, not 0, all traffic. And I'm going to accept the 000 as well. And I'm going to save this rule. Okay. Okay, rule has been saved. Now let's go here and try to refresh it. You see that? Hey, I can see that you have installed Jenkins and this is running on this machine. Everything looks good. Still, I need an extra authentication, extra step of authentication. If you do own this server, there is a password at this location. Can you go and grab that password? Provide that password for me. Okay, let's go and grab that password. This password inside a var folder. Var folder is like a binary, kind of binary in the Linux file system. So in order to access that, you should be a root user. I'm trying to grab that password. This is the password that I can see. Right, easy. Let's grab that password. Let's provide that password here. Okay. I don't need to install. Just install default plugins. And Jenkins will be ready in a minute. Can create a username and a password. Continue and save it. And this is the URL of this machine for now. Start using Jenkins. So we will integrate Jenkins with Git. Okay. What we need to do in order to integrate Jenkins with a Git, go to GitHub, go to your repository, whatever the repository that you want to working on. What is the repository that I'm working on this for project? Nike Men's, right? And in the repository settings, all you need to do, just go to repository settings. And in the left side, what you will see? You will see webhooks. You will be adding a webhook. Okay. The payload URL is nothing but the Jenkins URL. This one is the payload URL. Okay. This is the payload URL. And you need to add GitHub webhook extension. Since it's a webhook, you need to add that GitHub webhook extension. I would just use the JSON type content, and I can just leave that whatever the event. If I do see green, that means the connection between the Jenkins and a Git has been made already. And we'll see that in a minute. You see that? See that I saw the green one, right? Now let's go to Jenkins and create our first project basically. Go to new item. Create your first project. So these are all the project types. Freestyle project contains everything, pipelines, multi-configuration folder. You don't need to know all these things. You could choose any of them. Just pipeline, what is freestyle, everything does the same thing. So one should be fine. I would go with a freestyle project just at the beginning. 99% of the companies, they use pipelines basically. But let's start with a freestyle project at the moment. And if I go to freestyle project, right, just okay. And these are the 5 steps that you guys need to explore. In the general, what is just a description? Hey, this is Nike Men version 1.0, for example, just a general description of the project. And what is the source code? That means where the code is coming to this project. Git, right? And what is the repository URL? Okay, grab the repository URL. Okay. Grab HTTPS basically, not SSH. Okay, grab that URL. Sorry about that. What branch I'm trying to provide? Hey, this is the URL and this is the branch. Get the code from this branch only. Okay. And in the what I added to this GitHub webhook, right? Okay. Fetch the code using the webhook pooling in the build triggers. Some people might add this. trigger builds remotely, build after other project build periodically. If I do build periodically, I need to schedule the time. Hey, when do you want me to trigger the job? Every day 5 o'clock, every day 6 o'clock, things like that. And a poll SCM, that means pull the code from the source code repository, anything based on the requirement. These are the general steps. And a build environment, where you want to build. I don't have anything to build at the moment. For example, add a build step, executed shell or whatever. Just add executed shell. Just to provide, just run simple, just run some shell command, run.sh, for example. I'm going to create this run.sh and then let's see. And I can apply, and I can save. Okay. So let's go to that Nikesman project. Git branch. Oh, I have main. I don't have any master branch over there. I have only main branch here, right? Let's go to Jenkins. Let's go to this left side. You see configure, right? You need to go to configure in order to get all those details. You see that description, everything. Configure project. Basically, what you're doing is you are configuring the project, basically. I'm telling Jenkins to get the code from main branch. Okay, apply and save. Okay, now touch run.sh, simple shell file. Try to add some. Anybody know how shell script starts? When bash something like this, or this. Anybody have any idea? Okay, if not, we can Google it. Let's try to use this first. Okay, I just want to print my name, or this is gonna work. Or long weekend coming. Let's try to save it. Git add, git commit, updated, run script, push, origin main. Okay, git pull origin main. There are some changes. I need to pull those changes back in order to push git to origin main. Okay. So I added a file. I made some changes basically. Okay. Let's go to our Jenkins. Did it trigger the job? You see that? It triggered the job basically. The job has been triggered. Whatever I wrote there has been printed. You see that? So what happens is, this is called continuous integration. When developers make their changes to their release branch, okay, on their commits, whenever they push the code, they integrate Jenkins with a GitHub, and the Jenkins is going to trigger the job, and it is going to deploy that code into testing environments. This is called continuous integration. We don't do continuous integration on the production because we don't know whether it's going to work or not. But we do continuous integration for testing environments. how do we do continuous integration? We integrate Jenkins with a GitHub, and each commit, like, using webhook, the Jenkins is going to trigger the job on each commit, and it's going to go through the build steps. What is the build step here? Just a simple shell, build data such, whatever, run data such, whatever. Okay, let's make one more commit and let's double check whether it's working or not. Echo. This is not hard at all. Save it. Git add, run data search, git commit, -m updated, git push. Let's see. This is build one, right? We did not do anything. You see that second build is happening right now. It's done. You see that this is not hard at all. So this is how we do continuous integration and a continuous deploy. Okay. Now what we can do is we can create a baseline image. What is baseline image? Right? What is image basically? What is image? What is baseline image? How does that work? Right? What is baseline image and how does it work? So when we have a server, anything can happen. Server can be terminated accidentally, or it could go down sometimes. Even sometimes your computer won't work. You have to restart the computer, or you have to restart the computer multiple times. And some people remove the battery and reinsert the battery to make it work and things like that. For any reasons, right? For example, a couple of months ago, there was whole region was down. The whole Atlanta, Nashville, whatever the regions are down for the T-Mobile. And what they did, so they have a lot of servers on those regions, Atlanta region and everything. But it was down for a couple of hours. What else if it was down for like a month, right? You don't want your customers to wait a month in order to access in order to make phone calls or internet or whatever. So what we need to do, we need to have that environment available in a different region. For that, what companies does, they take backups of these servers every day. Okay, we will create a backup of this Jenkins server, and we will terminate this Jenkins, we will terminate this EC2 instance, and we will use that backup to relaunch the instance, and let's see what happens. When you select that instance, right? Select that instance. In the actions bar, you will see what you will see, image, right? And create an image. Image is nothing but replica. And I'm going to provide Jenkins baseline image, for example. And I can add extra data, extra volume as well if I want. By default, it's 8 GB because the volume, that EBS volume that we attach to this instance is 8 GB. I can add extra data as well and create an image. This is the AMI ID. AMI is nothing but Amazon Mission Image, which starts with the AMI. Instance ID will start with the I. Snapshot ID will start with the snap. Volume ID will start with the VOL. Right? Once the backup is ready, what we are going to do, we are going to terminate that instance. And this time we will be launching the instance using backup. So we are not installing any Jenkins. We are not installing any Java. We are not installing any Git. But when we launch the instance using this AMI, we will have all those details ready. And let's see whether it's going to work or not. My internet a little bit slow today, but it's okay. It's gonna work. It will be available in a minute, I guess. If the instance has like 200 GB, 300 GB data, it could go up to 2 to 3 hours. But we don't have anything there. We have just maybe half GB data. The Jenkins, Git, everything will be like maybe half GB, something like that. Okay. Hey, you said you've been installing Jenkins and integrate Jenkins with a GitHub. What is Jenkins? Jenkins is nothing but it's a third-party open source tool. Most of the companies use Jenkins for deployments, continuous integration, and a continuous deployment tool. Jenkins is a continuous integration and a continuous deployment tool. Remember in our beginning class, what we did? We did talk about Jenkins, how Jenkins will be helpful to deploy that source code into multiple environments, right? Like staging environment, testing environment, production environment, right? It's a mediator. It will sit right after the GitHub, and for example, like this. For example, like this. This is Git. This is Jenkins. And this is a sandbox environments, maybe development environment. And this is a test environment. And this is a production environment, right? And you will have your source code in Git, and you will have Jenkins. And whenever you say you can provide Jenkins a specific environment, and we will talk about them as well. And if you say that, hey, deploy this code into development environment, Jenkins will go and deploy that code. Deploy that code into testing environment, Jenkins will deploy the code into testing environment. Jenkins deploy that code into production, Jenkins will deploy the code into production. You don't need to connect to that each and every server which is in the development environment, and again you don't need to connect which is in the testing environment, again you don't need to connect which is in the production environment. If you do it manually, right, it could go wrong. Sometimes your key might be, you will be adding wrong key or whatever. If you configure all those details in Jenkins once, and that's it. If you make a mistake, Jenkins will let you know, hey, this is the mistake. This is the key that I got, but you don't have that key in the server. If you do it manually, it could be wrong. One time you do it right, and next time you will do it wrong, right? Those are the drawbacks. If you use this third-party tool, you configure here one time. If you make mistake, it will let you know this is the mistake that you made, and you will be correcting that mistake, and this machine is not going to make any mistake. Things like that. Okay, let's go to AWS. Let's look for that image is available, right? This is the AMI ID which is available. Let's terminate that instance. Instance state, and let's terminate that instance. Boom, done, shutting down. Meanwhile, let's go and launch instance from backup, not from default AMI, backup. Okay, this is the image that we created, right? Select that image, go to action, or you could see launch here. If you click on that launch, you see that choose AMI step has been escalated because you are using a baseline image. You don't need any image, you already have image, right? and again select that t2.micro, just review and launch. I'm going to use the same key pair and done, and go to that instance and go to security group. Okay, change the inbound rule in that security group. If the inbound rule has been changed, that's fine, but you see that, edit the inbound rule. What happens is when you select the default configuration, when you create an instance, I'm not configuring any launch states, right? By default, it will create a new security group. That's why I'm editing that inbound rules. If I choose the security group that I edited earlier, I don't need to use all this step again and again. Okay, save rule, and the rule has been saved. Go to EC2 dashboard. Rani is in the class. Rani, are you there?
Yeah.
Madhavi, are you following me?
Yeah.
Priya, are you there?
Yes, Vishnu.
Raj, are you following me?
Yeah. Okay.
So this is the instance that we just terminated. Okay, let's go and grab new instance, and this is the public IP, right? Let's grab the public IP and let's refresh it. It will go away because there is no server. It should go away. If not, that could be amazing.
Vishnu, when we create the AMI, does it, I mean, when we take the image from the existing instance, does it not save the security rules? I mean, like the inbound and outbound traffic?
Actually, the AMI is just a replica of that instance. The security group is different and the instance is different. Okay, and let me tell you. So the AMI is only the replica whatever we have in this instance. Okay, the security group does not do any, like they are not related to each other. The instance is inside the security group. Okay, this is a chair, basically this is a chair. Okay, and this is a home. You have the chair at your home. When you're creating a replica of your chair, you will have that replica. It doesn't mean anything with your home, right? But your doubt is, so the replica is also in your home only, right? You should have the similar access, right? But this is not complete chair. This is not complete instance. This is just an image, AMI. It's not complete computer. Okay. The next time, right? If I choose launch and okay, in the configure instance details, in the security groups, in the 6th section, in the security groups, I can choose existing security group that I did edited earlier. Earlier I edited a security group, right? I could, if I choose that group, you see that each time I create an instance, I'm like just choosing default values, it is creating a security group. The newly created security group doesn't have the inbound rules that I did edit the security group earlier, right? So that's why I'm editing the security group in order to make it work. Did I answer your question, Ramya?
Yes, Krishna.
If not, we will talk about that again, okay? And you see that this gone. There is no server with a 1.1 83.113. Let's go and check our public IP of that EC2 instance that we have. Click on this EC2. Let's choose that instance. Let's grab, you see that 19.226, right? Let's grab the public IP and then let's remove this. Okay. You see that Jenkins, right? We did not install any Jenkins on this new server. Am I right or wrong? Can someone tell me, did I install Jenkins on this server? I did not even connect to that server. This 226, I did not even connect to that server. Even I have the project. You see that Feb batch, I did not create any project called Feb batch. Even if I click on that Feb batch, I have 2 jobs running. 2 jobs ran. I have run 2 jobs. I did not do anything. I have got everything on this server from that image. Okay. And this is the class for today. I'm going to stop recording and we are going to discuss. Okay.